What is a surd? A surd is a root that cannot be simplified to a whole number or a fraction. So, from the definition of a surd, you can note that to master a root, but then the value inside that root should not simplify to a whole number or a fraction. Let's take, for example, if we have a number like the root of 9, yes, there is a root as we said, but then the one inside the root is 9. Now you see, if you take the square root of 9, it will be 3. 3 is a whole number, and we said a surd should not simplify to a whole number or a fraction. 3 is a whole number, and therefore the root of 9 is not a surd because it's simplified to a whole number. About if we have a value like the root of 2. The root of 2 simplifies 2 if you take the square root of 2 directly from the calculator. It becomes 1.4142 and then goes on without any specific pattern, and therefore the root of 2 cannot be written as a fraction. Neither can you write it as a whole number, and therefore the root of 2 is a surd. There are two rules you need to check before you ascertain a value as a surd. But before we check on those two rules, can we first understand what are rational numbers and what are irrational numbers, because they will help us understand the rules easily. So, what is a rational number? A rational number is a number that can be written as a fraction. If you have, for example, a number like 5, 5 can be written as 5 over 1. 5 over 1 is a fraction. Since you can write 5 as a fraction, it means 5 is a rational number. All whole numbers are rational numbers because you can write them as fractions. If we have another number like 0.25, 0.25 can be written as a quarter. A quarter is a fraction. Since 0.25 can be written as a fraction, then it means it is a rational number because we said rational numbers can be written as fractions. So, 0.25 is also a rational number. How about irrational numbers? Irrational numbers is the opposite of rational numbers. So, an irrational number cannot be written as a fraction because its decimals goes on forever with no specific repeating pattern. So, for example, if we have a number like the root of 2, the root of 2, if you take it directly from the calculator, I take 2, then the root of 2, it is 1.41 and then goes on without any specific pattern, and therefore the root of 2 cannot be written as a fraction because the decimal don't have any specific pattern. Therefore, the root of 2 is irrational. How about if we have a value like pi? I come back to the calculator and I key in pi. Pi will be 3.1415. Then it goes on without any specific pattern. Therefore, the decimals cannot be written as a fraction. Therefore, pi is irrational. So we have said rational numbers can be written as a fraction. Irrational numbers cannot be written as a fraction. So with that knowledge, we can be able to understand the two rules we need to check so that we certify one as a surd or not as a surd. So the first rule to check to identify if it is a surd or not is to master a root. So for example, if we have the root of 7, of course, and then 7, you see the root of 7, of course, there is presence of root. In this one, there is no root, so it doesn't pass root 1. This one passes through 1. Therefore, 7 cannot be a surd because it doesn't have a root. So we just eliminate it. And now we are remaining with the root of 7, and because it has passed root 1. So, root 2 is For it to be a surd, it must be irrational, meaning it cannot be written as a whole number, neither can it be written as a fraction. So let's say, for example, if we have a value like the root of 4, the root of 4, of course, the square root of 4 is 2. 2 is a whole number, meaning it has been written or is a whole number, meaning it has simplified to a whole number. Therefore, it cannot be a surd because we said a surd must be irrational, meaning it cannot reduce to either fraction or a whole number. But if you come to the root of 7, it reduces to 2.6457, and then the decimal goes on without any specific pattern. Therefore, you cannot write the root of 7 as a fraction, neither can you write it as a whole number, and therefore the root of 7 is a surd. The root of 4 is not a surd. So that's how we find a surd, or that's how we identify a surd. If there is a question you did not understand, you can ask me in the comment section. I'll try my best to answer. And bye for now. Let us meet in the next lesson where we're going to explore a different concept in mathematics.